true leadership starts in places no one else can see. Our nervous system hums, our inner voice whispers, and our body breath, gut and mind begin to speak together. That moment is where inner governance lives. It's about felt authority and feeling safe enough inside ourselves to let each answer unfold in its own time. Can you imagine that? And then something settles. Our heart softens, our body relaxes, a quiet serenity appears around what we are about to say, decide, or do. And believe me, it's so good to act from that place. This is the moment where leadership becomes embodied. And our world needs that kind of leadership right now. It simply feels right. Control and the need to have every answer belong to an older conditioning, a way of deciding shaped by pressure rather than presence. And if this is still how decisions move through you, hey baby, this shift is already here. It's time to change. Because the landscape has changed, the rhythm has changed, all structures are collapsing, and it's asking you to feel it, not to fight it. So, yes, my dear, jump on the train. This transformation is already in motion, and it's inviting you to embrace it. This capacity, inner governance, is rapidly becoming one of the most essential human skills of our time. It lives at the intersection of inner safety, identity, leadership, and trust. And inner governance begins with inner security. The quiet capacity to stay present with uncertainty until clarity naturally emerges. And yes, be quiet during that time, in between. And to understand inner governance, we start with groundedness, inner security. So inner security is the felt sense of safety inside, a state where the nervous system settles enough to perceive clearly, choose freely, and act from coherence rather than reactivity. And we are so used to react. So, yes, and we have to reprogram ourselves and to allow that. And without inner security, instinct contracts, intuition becomes harder to hear, and choices turn into reaction. And when you react, it's not the best decision you can take for you and your business. And as I described in Being is the New Doing, inner security does not come from external validation, certainty, or action. It emerges from the alignment of three living foundations: inner capital, inner ecology, and inner governance. And they are all linked together, like that. So, first of all, you have to clarify the foundations. And to be very clear, this work rests on precise inner foundation. They are lived, observable, and developable capacities, and each one plays a distinct role. Actually, inner capital answers these questions. What do I really have access inside myself? It includes strengths, skills, talents, qualities, patience, values, and of course, intuitions and intangible and unseen resources like faith. When inner capital is unrecognized, people tend to look outside themselves for answers. It develops through recognition, embodiment, and conscious reactivation. Reactivate your foundations. And inner ecology answers another question. At what inner cost am I living and creating? It relates to energy level, nervous system regulation, rhythm, motivation, and the capacity to meet doubt or stress without collapsing, like meditating in front of the station, early in the morning. When inner ecology is ignored, even strong inner capital becomes unsustainable. It develops through listening the body, honoring cycles, and respecting your personal limits. And you find a lot of guidance in my book, Being is the New Doing. And inner governance answers a third question. From where do I decide and orient my life and business? And of course, it includes your vision of the world, your reasons for being, your why, your dominant values, and your relationship with inner authority. Your sovereignty. When inner governance isn't clear, decisions oscillate between urgency, fear, and external validation. And we don't want that anymore. Because, inner governance develops as decisions gradually shift towards clarity felt in the body and the nervous system from an assertive posture. When these three dimensions align, inner security naturally emerges, not as a concept, of course, but as a lived sense of stability and trust. You will be able to feel it in your body. It's a state where uncertainty can be met without rushing to control or over-explaining. Actually, you will face uncertainty with such a serene posture. It's so great. It's really so great, And from this inner security, your complete self can lead by allowing the next step to reveal itself. You can totally apply the organic roadmap with your complete self fully here. So, what about intuition, trust, and pressure? When this posture is embodied, something essential becomes possible. You can trust your intuition because your mind, your rational mind, your brain, and so on are not here anymore in front of you. It's not as a vague inner voice, but it's a real guidance you can hear, feel, and act on. There is a space to receive your intuition. So, space to slow down without panic. Space to stay with not knowing without collapsing. You can wait. You just have to know how to be patient. Decisions no longer arise from external pressure or fear or falling behind. They emerge from your inner guidance, inner governance. When this trust is present, slowing down no longer feel dangerous. Nothing will happen if you slow down. Pausing no longer threatens identity or results. You can have a break the whole afternoon. Clarity is trusted to come in its own timing. You cannot rush clarity. It has its own timing. This is exactly what I support and invite my clients to cultivate. Because someone who trusts their inner direction and knows where they are headed does not generate internal pressure. They can meet external pressure without being driven by it, And they do not pass pressure down to their team. It's not a ripple effect of pressure. This is how leadership becomes both grounded and humane. So, inner governance becomes possible only once inner security exists. Just like a structure can stand only after the foundations are stable, inner governance is the capacity to sense what is true inside, take responsibility for one's own decisions, and align actions from inner intelligence. It is embodied decision making, not intellectual leadership. It's really from inside. And it's the difference between following external models and tuning into your own compass. And today that we are asked to connect to this compass because it really matters right now. Every era asks for new capacities, and today we face rapid technological changes, AI, agents, robotics, and so on, volatile economies, inflation, unstable systems, capitalism suffers, shifting cultural trust, institution, leadership, narratives. A lot of people don't trust anymore institution, media, and so on. And a social polarization, ideological fragmentation, resource pressure, and systemic limits. We all know that: energy, electricity, ecological strain, and so on. Human nervous system overload, burnout, mental health, and so on. Emergent adaptive responses, coaching, inner work, conscious leaderships. What else? Yeah, the rays of consciousness, intuition, spiritual practices, and so on. So inner governance becomes the missing connective tissue between all of this. In such times, traditional forms of authority, institution, government, corporations, maybe patriarchate too, are losing their automatic legitimacy for many, many people. The most recent Edelman Trust barometers show that trust in institutions is strained and people increasingly doubt external systems to guide their lives with integrity, purpose, or clarity. And this creates two things: a trust vacuum where old authorities can't fill inner needs, and an opportunity for individuals to develop internal government that steadies them through uncertainty. When the external can't be relied on, the internal becomes essential. Interestingly, this shift isn't only described by economists or sociologists. It's also been named for decades by New Age and spiritual frameworks, using, of course, a different language. For example, in human design, this transition is often linked to the sleeping phoenix cross, a phase where collective structures lose their central authority and individuals are invited to develop inner sovereignty and embodied leadership. Astrologically, it's more or less similar. It's described through the age of Aquarius, which emphasizing decentralization, networks over hierarchies, and a redefinition of authority. Different vocabularies, same signal. And whether one resonates with these frameworks or not, they point to the same observable trend. As external systems grow less reliable, the ability to self-regulate, decide, and lead from within becomes increasingly essential. While inner governance is the future of human skill, global institutions that track future workforce trends, like the World Economic Forum, highlight how the future of work and leadership will rely less on static knowledge and more on capacities like adaptability, decision-making under uncertainty, emotional intelligence, of course, resilience. These aren't technical skills taught in classrooms. These are internal capacities that live in the nervous system and lived experiences. And inner governance is precisely this, the ability to navigate complexity from inside yourself first. It merges emotional intelligence, the felt sense of what is alive inside, discernment, what is ours to choose next, coherence, alignment across body, intuition, mind, and then only your business model and strategy. First, body, intuition, and mind. And finally, leadership that begins with self-regulation, this famous assertive posture. This is what future readiness genuinely looks like. So we have to trust the shift from external to internal. The Edelman reports show that while trust in institutions wavers, people are increasingly turning inward and toward peer-based trust system. This explains the rise in membership and community. When leaders act without inner alignment, the results are fragmentation, conflict, and societal stress. And when leaders act from inner governance, a place of felt clarity and grounded authority, the results are deeper connection, clearer choices, and a sense of shared direction. Don't you want that? Inner governance creates trust from within, and trust is the currency of the future. Furthermore, the people around us, teams, families, communities, clients, partners, can sense whether our posture, words, and actions emerge from trust or from fear. This perception isn't abstract or intuitive only. It is physiological and relational. And it's what makes us human as well. So from a neuroscience perspective, a regulated nervous system communicates safety through tone of voice, micro-expressions, posture, and rhythm. When someone leads from inner alignment, their system tends to activate coherence. Lower cortisol, balanced adrenaline, and higher levels of oxytocin, the hormone linked to trust and social bonding. And others' nervous systems register this almost instantly. Leadership driven by fear, pressure, or control carries a different chemical and energetic signature. Elevated stress hormones, subtle tension in the body, and incoherent signals are unconsciously picked up by others, triggering vigilance, resistance, or disengagement. At an energetic level, this translates into frequency and field coherence. A regulated, aligned system emits stable, coherent signals that invite resonance and collaboration. A dysregulated system creates noise in the relational field. This is why inner governance shapes the collective field around it, chemically, neurologically, and energetically. Okay, so how inner governance functions practically. So inner governance isn't abstract. It's not a spiritual metaphor. It's a self-regulating system with a clear architecture. Presence, which means attending to what is happening inside, right now. Safety, allowing the nervous system to settle enough to receive deeper intelligence, such as your intuition, or being able to see synchronicities. Discernment, distinguishing impulse from clarity. Coherence, aligning body, emotion, intuition, and thought. Choice, acting from inner clarity rather than outer pressure. Reflection, factoring what happened back into your sense of self like a learning loop. This system is dynamic and it moves with life's rhythm and, not against aim. So you have to allow and to welcome it. And this is how we learn it. Inner governance develops by creating space, such as space to slow down, to notice, to feel, and to observe how decisions actually emerge inside us. We are all different. And for the first time in history, many of us have access to tools, technologies, and organizational systems that make this possible. Better workflows, flexible work structures, supportive ecosystem, and conscious forms of collaboration. When time and mental load are freed up, attention can turn inward. Patterns become visible, signals become clearer. And from there, learning happens naturally, sometimes alone, through self-observation and lived experience, and sometimes with the support of a mentor who helps name and clarify what is unfolding and stabilize it over time. Build your daily life, your weeks to have this space. You have the tools today to do that. Inner governance isn't taught in one step or on the school benches or in books. It's learned through presence, repetition, and reflection, and in real life, decision after decision. So yes, inner authority is a new kind of leadership. Leadership in the future won't be about models or methods alone. It will be about inner authority, the capacity to regulate ourselves in complexity, make choices that feel alive and responsible, and it inspires others to do the same. There is only the invitation to bring your awareness, moment by moment, inside yourself No external prescription for this capacity. That's how your compass sharpens. That's how your decision gain clarity. That's how your work and your life become meaningful from the inside out. The future isn't waiting for leaders who chase certainty. Certainty is not part of the game anymore. The future is waiting for those who learn to trust themselves in uncertain times. Inner governance is the skill that allows your inner authority to emerge. It's the style from which trust, clarity, and responsible action grow. This is not the leadership of textbooks. It is about leading with your lived experience. Being is the new doing supports you in delving into your inner journey, not to replace another model. Honor your pathways.